Is it me or is manhood terribly misunderstood? I just woke up with a deep urge to talk about a serious epidemic. Boys who never grow into manhood, and not in the RuPaul, Caitlyn Jenner kind of way. Matter of fact, props to Caitlyn Jenner, because there's a lot of bitch niggas are still in denial.
What time is it? You really gotta do this right now?
Sorry about that, but this video is about the 12 traits of manhood that most men miss. And I'm not gonna harp on discipline because all of these traits require discipline. But unless we unpack what I'm about to address, we will never be disciplined because our motivation will get starved out time and time again by our misuse of manhood. We could watch all the how-to and motivational videos we want, but we still ain't gonna do shit because deep down inside, the real man in each of us is starving for a purpose, not a paycheck. Bars. At the Nearapy Center, we teach that manhood boils down to 12 very specific traits that men often overlook. And we've also broken it down into an acronym. Reclaim your balls. R, respect for himself, community, and others. Now, don't get it wrong. This ain't that rah-rah beat on my chest respect. For instance, how many successful young men have you seen look past the modest woman who dresses and presents herself as respectable, then turn around and wipe the most publicly ran through groupie and act surprised when she take half his shit and move on to the next hot with the big 7, 8, 9-figure contract? Because when a man is out of touch with his purpose, he don't respect purpose. He don't respect values. What he respects is status symbols, no matter how fucked up the status symbol might be. Matter of fact, sometimes the more ratchet, the more destructive the status symbol, the more the man-child will idolize it, want to be like it. E, for emotional regulation, because he can control his urges, his outbursts, and isn't enslaved by his triggers. C, for character, because his behavior is consistent in lightness and in darkness. L, for leadership, not to be confused with dominance. I'm talking about empathetic leadership. I don't know about y'all, but I tend to watch movies and root for the bad guy right down to the end until a compassionate, empathetic bad guy step into the game. Now I'm rooting for that. Fuck the other dude. Same goes for leadership. You see a lot of folks confusing leadership with dominance. They talk down on people, be doing the Diddy dance all through the office and shit. That's not leadership. That's dominance. And there's a difference. One thing I learned to join is that a leader ain't got to worry about no having a razor blade in his mouth when he's trying to get some top. But that dominator, eventually he getting circumcised, heard me? A, for accountability, because he's open to constructive feedback. He's able to own his mistakes and use them as roadmaps for improvement.
Wait, who are we talking about exactly?
I, for introspection. He's able to evaluate his mental and emotional process objectively, then adjust effectively. M, for maturity, which is less about age and more about your values and practices. A 30-year-old man who blames others for his FAP addiction and fear of rejection is not mature. He is stuck in his boyhood phase. No reference to Gary Coleman. Rest in peace, my nigga. Back when I was in the joint, this young buck tried to breach my manhood because I kept calling him boy. We got to wrestling in the shower and I got him in a chokehold. And the whole time I'm choking him out, I'm whispering to him. Only reason I let that nigga live is because he had a child. So after the COs broke it up, he had a whole different energy. He ain't want no more smoke. Everybody was like, what was you whispering to him when you was rubbing your nuts on him? What I told him is that the duties of a 21-year-old with a child is very different from the duties of a 21-year-old without a child. But if he kept behaving like he didn't have a child, his child was probably gonna end up in the joint with us. That straightened him out like nightstick dick, you heard me? That boy went and got his GED, started taking vocational courses and learned the code. He stayed out of trouble, served his time, and went home. B, bravery. And again, this ain't that beat your chest bravery. This is bravery in vulnerability. This is bravery in the willingness to try things in areas that are unfamiliar. I saw somebody in the comments say that they had a fear of success. No, let me help y'all understand what that really means. It ain't a fear of success, my nigga. It's a fear of the unknown. You can only operate and function in the things that you can control. The minute it goes beyond your control, you become fearful. You self-sabotage. You run. You make excuses. You quit. You lose motivation. That is not a fear of success, my nigga. That is a fear of not knowing. In other words, it is an absence of faith. A, for adaptability. This the kind of that know when it's time to reinvent, know when it's time to pivot. Yes, the strong will survive, but it's the niggas who adapt to change that's gonna feed them. Bars. L, for loyalty. Loyalty to your offspring, no matter who you had them with. Loyalty to the little broken boy inside of you tried to leave behind. Loyalty to your dreams, loyalty to your ideas, and loyalty to your future self. The other L is legacy. And it ain't just about how much money you make. Yes, money is important, but legacy is leaving behind the blueprint to a life that others will aspire to.
Bars.
S is sacrifice. What do you have to stop doing? What do you have to let go of? What do you have to move away from? What do you have to give more of? What do you have to tolerate in order to honor your high calling? It's reclaim your balls. Bars. If you was a biological male who was not on a journey to mastering those 12 qualities, I don't care how much muscles you got, I don't care how much money you make, you ain't a man and you probably got penis envy, heard me? For a man without purpose, life can feel pointless. Bars. That's how clickbait becomes your compass. And I know what a lot of y'all is thinking. Y'all like, okay, so if I do the reclaim your balls thing, I'm gonna get this. No, don't think of it as a destination. This is a lifelong journey to self-mastery. Rome wasn't built in the day that was Utah. What?
What do you mean by clickbait becomes your compass?
You ever heard the saying, if you don't stand up for something, you'll fall for anything? Okay, same goes for a man without purpose. When a man has no purpose, he becomes a drifter. But the minute he has purpose, that purpose becomes the gravitational pull, drawing him closer and closer to the destiny of the chosen. And in this day and age, most of us is addicted to clickbait. If you are somebody who is out of touch with the deeper meanings behind what you've been through, you will end up oblivious to your calling and end up enslaved to the gravitational pull of your distractions. Bars! Pornography, drugs, media, social pressure, consumerism, and all the other stimulants we try to calm my anxiety with. Because when you feed the man in you his purpose, discipline flows naturally. It becomes automatic because the real superpower of manhood is purpose. I had to learn this the hard way. Don't go seeking success, seek purpose and let success find you. Bars. And that is what this channel is devoted to. So hit that subscribe button if you like something. Was that you?
What? No, not me. That was you. That was me.
Look, if you are a man who's been on a journey, but you are ready to unpack, go to reclaimballs.com and take my value assessment test. It's 50 questions that will change your life. And there you can also learn all the ways you can become one of the heroes who supports Tijuana Jackson's unsponsored channel. And remember, life won't get better unless you do.
Babe, can we go back to sleep now?
I'm up now. You just shit on me.
Subscribe to my dad's channel. Bars!